Hey everybody, this is Big Mike. I am here with Melat Kiros, who is running for Colorado's first congressional district, representing most of Denver. How are you, Melat? Tell us how you're doing and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Mike. I am running because I've lost faith in the Democratic Party and our leadership, and just like almost 70% of Democratic voters have as well. We lost thousands of working class voters. We're losing millions of registered Democrats as well. Something's got to give, something's got to change. I have every faith that we're going to take back the House and take back the White House, but after that, we don't have a plan, we don't have a vision. And if we don't have a plan or a vision, what comes after, just going back to business as usual, it's going to be a lot worse than anything we've seen with Trump. So there's too much at stake. We need folks to step up and take back this leadership for ourselves.
Gotcha. All right, and Denver's going to be a crowded field. Of course, you're running against a longtime incumbent,
Mhm.
as well as several other progressive challengers. Tell us what sets you apart.
Yeah, I mean, I was one of the first to hop in. We've been 3 months into this. We've broken the record for how much grassroots support any challenger in this race has ever gotten in the last, however many terms the kid has been in office. It'll have been 30 years at the end of this upcoming term. And we've raised over $125,000 already. That's real grassroots momentum. That is real people-powered energy. And these are folks that want to see a change. They want to see a different representation in our politics, in our party, real attention being paid to working class, everyday people. And we're not doing it with corporate PAC money. We're not taking it from money groups like APAC. That's the easy way out. That's the easy route, and we're not doing any shortcuts. It's gonna be long and it's gonna be hard, but real grassroots energy is what's going to hold me accountable to the people, and will get us a win at the end of this.
Gotcha. And since you brought up APAC, I usually do this later in the interview, but you brought up APAC.
Yeah.
The number one question I get from my viewers is, where are you on Israel Gaza? Now, you
Yeah.
have an interesting story on that that I've
Mhm.
seen on your TikTok. So tell us a little bit about your experience and your previous job.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm a recovering attorney. I don't practice anymore. In November of 23, I was fired because I refused to take down a letter that I wrote, calling out the genocide and particularly defending the students that were protesting what would soon become a genocide in Palestine. And I did that because, these kids were so brave. They were risking their own jobs, their own reputations, because they knew that what they were seeing in Palestine was wrong and that someone needed to stand up and fight for the people in Palestine. Um, and I didn't want them to be doing it alone. I wanted to defend their right to protest, their right to freedom of speech, and also defend their opinion as a legitimate opinion on what that situation is going on right now. And so I was really proud to stand by them. I have no regrets about saying no to taking that letter down and losing my job for it. At the end of the day, it put me back to where I think I should have always been in the first place, which is policy and working for everyday people, being in public service, trying to make our government work for the people again. And so, the number one thing that I've found in my research, I'm also doing a PhD in public affairs, that's primarily focused on money and politics. And the influence of APAC in preventing there from being any legitimate debate or conversation about what is happening in this genocide is absurd. The money that they are pouring in to ensure that politicians are voting the way that they want them to, the influence that's being made over our mainstream media from actually talking about this issue and showing what's really happening on the ground. It's horrific, honestly, and it's reminiscent of other atrocities we've seen in the past. And in particular, I think a lot about the South African apartheid government and the hundreds of millions of dollars they spent in their own propaganda and influencing leadership as well. And so the only way we can combat that is by saying no to that money. That's it. So, no money for APAC. I am calling this a genocide. I'm calling for Palestinian statehood. I'm calling for a ceasefire for aid to get in there. At the end of the day, this is a human rights issue. No matter where you fall, you cannot deny the atrocity and the loss of life there. And I just pray that we don't ever become so numb that we can ignore that. And the reality is that almost 80% of Democrats want an Israeli arms embargo, but we're not seeing that representation in Congress because of the
Right.
influence of AIPAC. So This is the one step that every single Democrat should be taking if they actually mean to represent the people's interest.
Understood. Jumping back stateside, Milat, day one, you get elected, you're in office. What are your priorities? What are the, let's say, three top issues you're going to start working on day one?
Number one is resisting Trump, right? We are not doing enough as a party to call out the just dismantling and destruction of our institutions right now. Donald Trump is trying to militarize the police. He's already done it in DC. He's trying to go into Chicago. He's calling on Oregon now, and we have to be doing more. And Denver is going to be up next. I'm sure of it. We are definitely on that list, and we have to be doing more in Congress to be preventing any of his stuff from going through. We have Democrats that have been voting on his appointees, that have been voting with his legislation. That has to stop. As a true opposition party, we have to be doing everything that we can in our seats to ensure that he cannot get anything more done. The second is that we need to be building a coalition. We need to be broadening the base of support that we have to actually commit to representing the people and not the corporate interests, not the big lobbyists. And that's gonna take time. The point that I'm trying to make with this race and hopefully trying to uplift others happening across the country is that if we are serious about reversing Citizens United, about really getting money and corruption out of politics, we have to get rid of the people that are part of that problem. Diana DeGette has taken almost $6 million in corporate PAC money over the course of her career. That's part of the problem, and we need to build that coalition broadly. So one of the things that I really want to do is ensure that we're working together and voting in lockstep to make sure that we are addressing the issues that matter most to people and not letting the influence of corporations or money do anything to dissuade that. And then I have a slate of some policies that I'd really be interested in pushing for, taxing super PAC contributions and creating a national donor matching program. Not only does it disincentivize people from contributing to super PACs, but it will also provide the funding that we need for a national donor matching program. We have it here in Denver. The city will match small dollar donations by 9 times. We saw it work in action in New York City. They matched small dollar donations by 8 times. And Zohran Mamdani's race was an incredible feat to see. He's an incredible political
Absolutely.
talent.
Absolutely.
But he had also that support, that structural support of ensuring that the playing field was leveled by that matching program, and matching those small dollar donations by $8. So we should have something like that on the federal level to help candidates like me that are not taking corporate PAC money because everyday people don't have millions of dollars to throw at a candidate, but we're doing the work to broaden as much support as we can. But by having a donor matching program, that ensures that the playing field is leveled.
All right. So we've got fighting Trump, ending money in politics. That was two, right? Do we have a
The
third?
the second one was building a coalition because
Building a
ultimately the
coalition.
goal
Okay.
needs to be the reversing Citizens United, but you need quite a bit of people to commit to that.
Understood. All right. Let's see. Is there anything else you'd like folks to know about you? A little bit about yourself or anything?
Yeah, sure. I'm from Ethiopia. I immigrated here in 98 when I was a baby. So I'm 28 years old. And I think the biggest thing that's really exciting me about this campaign is just the energy that we're seeing from folks in the district that are just excited to see someone new that's interested in doing this and wants to step up and has the same policies that a lot of people have in mind already here in Denver. So I'm really excited to really hit the ground running. We're about this will be the fourth month that we're hopping into this. We got a lot of support. We've already got almost 40 volunteers that are signed up. We're going to start the ground game soon, and it's just been great. I'm really excited to see how we go.
Awesome. Now tell the folks where to find you. We're running short on time.
Yeah, for sure. Kirosforco.com, KIROSFORCO.com. You can read our platform, our issues, donate. That would be such a huge help. And then Melat Kiros, MELATKIROSCO, is all my social handles, and you can find us anywhere there too.
Fantastic. And I'm Big Mike, your one-stop shop for progressive news and candidates here in Colorado. Find me on Patreon. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. Have a good one.